He's 17-0 at 140-pound class, and he's got 15 knockouts. So this...
They don't have to look far to find sparring partners.
That's it. But he's from, like, let's say, a boxing family. And, you know, we have to be careful with these guys from Vienna. We don't know what's behind all these wins and losses because we haven't got the same type of information that we do in the United States from the U.S.
Just take a look at the tail of the tape here very quickly, Guy. We see that Wayne Harris has 4 inches on Stephane Ouellet. In terms of weight, Stephane about 5.5 pounds heavier than Harris. Age-wise, there's a difference there. Stephane Ouellet is 7 years younger. Harris is a real veteran.
Yeah.
He is 35, and Stephane Ouellet is going to end up being 6 inches shorter with the reach. And when you have a couple of veteran fighters, what about the reach? Is that going to be a factor?
Well,
6 inches?
I would think that with that difference in reach, that would certainly be an asset that they are going to try to exploit from his corner, you know, because Ouellet has got such rapid hands. You don't want to be in the firing range of these hands. And probably in the estimation of most people in boxing, it would be that he would try to stay away from that particular range by using his longer reach. So yes, I think that this long reach is going to be very instrumental tonight.
And I think the feeling is that Stephane Ouellet is not taking Harris lightly, that he trained hard and thoroughly and diligently, and he is mentally prepared and knows that he has to win this fight.
Frankly, Ron, I really don't know, to tell you the truth, because now he comes in at 170 pounds. Okay, that seems to indicate that he may not have trained as hard as he should have. So whether he comes in at the top condition, that remains to be seen. But it's for him to prove it to us, because at that weight, he has something to prove. And he's now he's working as a not a morticianer, but one of these guys that carries the casket.
Right. Yes.
He's always been involved. His interest has been in that necrology, I guess they call it. In any event, now he's working a full day's work, and it
trains
may not interfere with his proper training, and we're going to find out. Stephane Larouche tells us that it didn't interfere with it. I'm waiting for them to prove it to me.
So you're playing Show Me.
I'm from Missouri. They have
Show Me.
There's Massawi. Yeah, and this young man is going to certainly forge ahead with a great reputation in Montreal.
Stephane Massawi, fine young fighter. Maybe a special attention. Let's go up to Christian Gauthier in the center of the ring.
Mr. Trevor Burbick, right here on my left-hand side. Trevor Burbick.
And here comes Trevor Burbick in. Putting on a little show for the fans here in Montreal. Trevor Burbick goes back a long time here to the 1976 Olympics.
And boy, I'll tell you, he's been through every scenario where you promote a fight, and he's learned from the very best when he was fighting guys like Muhammad Ali.
That's right, he fought the best.
So he's learned how to ballyhoo a fight like from the very best. And of course, he's got the mouth to go with it.
Yes, exactly. Self-marketing sometimes it's called, Gate. Well, we have 2 fights ahead here in this card tonight in Montreal. The feature being the Canadian Welterweight Championship, Hercuvilos against Fitz Vanderpool. But up next, one that certainly people have been anticipating too, and they always are anytime they get a chance to see Stephane Ouellet fight in Montreal.
Now, Ron, one interesting note here is that in 1998, on the 25th of July in 1998, he fought a guy named Braithwaite in Guyana, Wayne Braithwaite, and that's the Braithwaite that just beat
Dale Brown Saturday night in near Hartford.
Yeah. And this guy, he's fought some of the top fighters in the world. Anthony Andrews. As a matter of fact, you know, he fought Adolfo Caballero for the Latin WBA championship back in 1992 and lost by disqualification. But at least to be able to qualify for that type of competition, you have to be pretty good.
Well, Wayne Harris had only one fight in 1999. He had a couple in 98. He was 35 years old and started professional fighting in 1984. It goes back a long time. He is truly a seasoned veteran of the game. Now the fans eagerly awaiting the arrival to the ring of Stephane Ouellet. Wayne Harris record 20-13-0, 10 by knockout. There's a look at Stephane Ouellet. Ouellet got that nasty scowl on his face. He has the game face on.
Well, Ron, we'll see how progressively Ouellet can come back from the devastating 2 losses that he had against Davey Hilton. You know, some fighters can never recover from that. But it seems like the ones with the bigger heart are the ones that usually can recover. And that's why I say with Dale Brown, I have no fear.
No fear, no concern.
As long as he wants it. If he's cold, if he's cool with the idea of course.
As long as without self-doubt, and if self-doubt starts coming
in. If he really believes in the fact that he should go ahead and give it all, then I would say I'd be 100% certain that Dale can continue and have a very interesting career. But if he has doubts about his ambition, that could be very detrimental. And that's what we're going to find out also from Stephane Ouellet tonight.
There's another look at Wayne Harris. Ouellet and Harris yesterday at the weigh-in.
You know, no matter what they say, Ron, when you get knocked out, your self-assurance oftentimes will take a beating, and you have to climb up the hill again. Not everybody can do it.
Okay, let's go up to ring announcer Christian Gauthier.
4th professional bout, 8 rounds of boxing in the super middleweight division. Les juges pour ce combat, the judges for this bout, Monsieur Emilien Nadeau, Monsieur Sylvain Leblanc et Monsieur Pasquale Procopio. L'arbitre, the referee, Mr. Jerry Boland. D'abord, dans le coin bleu de Georgetown en Guyane anglaise, in the blue corner, from Georgetown, British Guiana, portant la culotte bleue et blanche et pesant 164 livres. He's wearing blue trunks with white trim and weighs in at 164 pounds. Il a une fiche professionnelle de 20 victoires, 10 KO, 13 défaites, aucune nulle. His professional record stands at 20 wins, 10 coming by way of knockout, 13 losses, and no draws. Introducing Wayne Harris. Et dans le coin rouge de Montréal en provenance de Jonquière, in the red corner, from Montreal, originally from Jonquière, portant la culotte grise et noire et pesant 169,7 livres. He's wearing great trunks with black trim and weighed in at 169.7 pounds. Avec une fiche professionnelle de 26 victoires, 17 par KO, 3 défaites, aucune nulle. His professional record stands at 26 wins, 17 coming by way of knockout, 3 losses and no draws. Il est ex-champion canadien, ex-champion de la LABF, ex-champion continental des Amériques et classé 11e par le WBC. He's a former Canadian champion, former NABF champion, former America's Continental champion, and ranked 11th by the WBC. Mesdames, Messieurs, Stephane Ouellet.
Well, I think one thing Wayne Harris knows, he's up against the crowd.
Well, Ron, you know, an interesting fact also is that this guy, Wayne, once fought for the world title. And he fought Reggie Johnson back in 1993. and he lost a 12-round decision. Now, anybody who's seen Reggie Johnson in the past year fight will know that this is a pretty tall order.
Yeah, it would really appear that Wayne Harris's career peaked in the early 90s, 92, 93, when he was fighting the best competition, and then it started to slip. Most of his fighting done in his native Guyana and in Trinidad.
That's it.
So this one is scheduled for 8 rounds, a super middleweight, and that's Ouellet, of course, in the gray trunks, and Wayne Harris of Guyana in the blue. Harris got the reach advantage. He has the height advantage.
You can see that he's establishing the superiority with reach right from the very beginning.
Right. He's using those very quick jabs.
He's going to force Stephane to try to get inside.
This is his first fight of this year. He had but one last year. And for Stephane Ouellet, also not that active recently after, as you mentioned, the 2 devastating losses to Davey Houghton. We're in the first round.
This guy's very awkward to fight because he keeps you at bay with his long reach. It's going to be tough for Ouellet to try to get it back, get inside, do some damage.
The reach is so obvious here, isn't it, with these two fighters?
And he keeps his elbows in tight to protect against body blows there, so it's going to make it tough for Ouellet.
What does Ouellet have to do here in the first couple of rounds? There's lots of time.
He's got to figure a way of getting inside and try to connect, and obviously to the, I would say the chin is probably his most vulnerable right there because he seems to be protecting his body quite well. But after throwing some punches there, if Ouellet can figure out a way of counter-punching him, I think maybe the chin might be a little suspect, or at least vulnerable.
Just about a minute to go in the first of 8 rounds. The next one is the feature. That's the Canadian Welterweight Championship. Cavillos against Vanderpool. A couple of veteran fighters here, Harris and Ouellet. Both have owned numerous belts over their careers. And Harris also showing us here he's a good veteran fighter.
No doubt about that. This guy is definitely a Class A fighter. He's definitely not over a hill fighter. And it's going to be a long night for Stephane if the first round is any indication. It's going to be a tough night.
Now Ouellet trying to get in close, just as the bell goes to end the first round. And it's going to be very difficult to give Ouellet the edge in that first round.
I've got 10-9 for Harris on that one. Now, no damage was done, mind you, Ron, but the thing is the consistency of the jab in the face just took the little bit, gave him the edge for the first round.
Well, Harris certainly took control of the round early. He established what his game plan was, and Stephane Ouellet never got
feeling out the round. It's a feeling out round. I think no damage was done on either side, but on the basis of what we saw, you'd have to give it to Harris on the his longer reach seems to have made the difference there.
Kurt Cavillos, I guess best part of an hour away from the biggest fight of his career, Canadian Welterweight Championship, and the bell goes as we're into round 2 here. That's Harris in the blue trunks, Stephane Ouellet in the gray. Ouellet, I think we can say, came on in the last 30 seconds of the first round. Let's see if he continues in the second. You mentioned the feeling out round. Well, there was some feeling out of that punch. Harris certainly landed one. Now back with a good left. Ouellet trying to get inside. It's not easy, is it?
Well, I mean, it's not easy when you have a guy that's so tall and with a reach which is
towering over you.
Yeah. That's what makes the... but he seems to at least being able to find the target a little bit more in this second round.
And that's really what it comes down to. He has to find the target.
Yeah, he's got to be... That's it. He's got to have the ability to get inside.
He's got to make his punches count because he's not going to get the quantity. He's got to have quality.
From long distance, it's going to be tough. So he's got to step inside. He's got to find a way of getting his head and body inside to close the gap and then come up to the head.
Stephane Ouellet took some time off after the losses to Hilton. One time was talking about retirement. I'm not sure anybody took that serious, but or if he did.
He might be doing a little bit better job in the second round of solving the puzzle.
Yes, he is. Yep. And that's a pretty good analogy, Guy, solving the puzzle. The puzzle that is Wayne Harris. Long lean, long reach.
And he's been there with the very best. So this guy is not...
well, he's got his game face on. He didn't come here to check in and check out.
That's for sure.
This round has been more of a cat and mouse round, certainly.
Yeah.
Good left.
Well, that's slowly, however, figuring out a little bit how to reach this guy because he didn't have it in the first round. But he seems to have more success in this particular round. I got a feeling that once he gets the puzzle solved, that the fireworks are going to start.
So far, we're seeing Harris, a pretty good classic boxer there. He took a right to the face from Ouellet.
Now I think that he's found the equation. At least it appears to be that way.
Down to the final seconds now of the second round as they tie up, and by the time they're broken up, the bell is just about ready to go. Then Jerry Bolin is the referee. In this super middleweight. Going 8 rounds, and we've gone 2. And you reversed your scoring this time. Geet 10-9 for Ouellet over Harris.
Ouellet was taking charge. He landed the crispier punches, the more frequent punches, as a matter of fact. And he seems to be able to solving the puzzle of trying to get inside of that long reach.
This is where the manager really comes in. So important to be able to analyze the round and what his fighter has to do.
No doubt about it. As we can see now, Stephane Laroche is talking to him right now and instructing him as to what weaknesses are.
Just to get a look here at Fitz Vanderpool as he is preparing for his upcoming feature here at the Molson Center in Montreal against Kurt Cavellos for the Canadian Welterweight Championship. Fitz the Wit Vanderpool, and we're into round 3. Harris and Ouellet, a couple of body jabs. 3 of them, as a matter of fact. Let's count 4. As Ouellet again tries to get inside.
You know, what's deceiving also, Ron, is that Ouellet's jab, it's not just a little left tap. I mean, it comes in with some effect. So if it can be disruptive. It's more than just a fancy punch.
And he wasn't able to apply the jab at all in the first and second round.
Not at all.
That may be a good sign for Ouellet.
Well, I see him now bobbing and weaving, and because he doesn't present the stationary target as he did in the first round. You see it bobbing, weaving, and sticking out of the way, and doing a little counter punching. So I think that the corners already solved the problem.
Harris slipped. All right, now we're seeing a more poised Stephane Ouellet. Ouellet seems to be fighting his fight in this round, and he wasn't able to in the first 2.
Yeah, he seems to have, I think the corner probably has established what the problem was. And I think the problem was that he was stationary, and Harris was just flicking his jab in his face, and he couldn't do a thing about it. But now he's moving.
Midway in the third round, this fight is scheduled to go 8. couple of veteran fighters. Ouellet showing us certainly more in the third than he did in the first, and even in the second when he was given the scoring edge. Still a very good active fight here, Dean.
Yeah, but you see, at close range like that, well, not only at close range, but the way that Ouellet was establishing his superiority there, that's when he's really dangerous, because his hooks are deadly.
And realistically, Harris hasn't landed very much, if anything at all, in this round, and he has taken some punishment there. It was a dandy.
We also have to remember, Ron, that this guy is a genuine 12-round fighter. I mean, and that means, in effect, that when you hit him square on the jaw, he doesn't go down. This is a championship. That's a guy that's run the distance in World Championship. So you can stay in there with the best of them.
Oh, they're slugging. This is a great exchange of punches here between Stephane Ouellet and Wayne Harris, getting down into the late seconds now of round 3. And this has been a great round as the bell goes. That was a good round.
Absolutely, no doubt. For Ouellet, 10-9.
And again, Stephane Ouellet. And he gets the edge primarily what he did in the first half of the round.
Well, you know, it's a totally different fighter. All of a sudden, from round 1 to round 3, the guy's turned it around. He's shown his superiority, his aggressiveness. He's the Ouellet that everybody fell in love with because of that particular style. He's the warrior now that's putting everything together, not only his heart, but his talent. Everything is going together in the last round.
Wayne Harris there was getting his instructions. Yvon Michel talking to Stephane Ouellet.
Now, we have to, at least from here on in, we're also going to see another aspect of this is what kind of condition that Ouellet is, whether he can keep that up at that same pace.
Particularly after the fourth is when the conditioning will come into play. We're into the fourth round. There you see the scoring. 29-28. Ouellet with a slight edge over Wayne Harris. Harris is in the blue trunks, by the way. Ouellet really has come out here in the fourth the way he finished off the third, very aggressively.
What he did in the first round and he's doing now is bobbing and weaving, and he's not a stationary target, that he's moving left and right, and he's not just standing in front of him.
And he's using that movement to try to get territory inside too.
Yeah. See, he paid the price in the first round. He was stationary and he paid the price. But his corner probably told him to move around because we saw him move in the second round, and that changed the nature of the fight.
Well, they were punching toe-to-toe for a good portion of the third round. This round is a little bit more feel him out, but Ouellet the aggressor. Good combination there from Stephane Ouellet. Harris coming back, but he's not able to really land punches with much authority here, Dean. Inside body punches from Ouellet.
Seems like Wayne got a second win.
Again, Ouellet, the aggressor. And you know, for a man with this height and reach, Ouellet has really done a very good job of protecting himself in the last couple rounds.
Yeah, and I think the motion of his head and the way he moves around, like displaces himself, that's made the difference. And of course, Stephane, when Stephane hits, the blows are landing with more power.
Oh, without
also
doubt.
They might end up throwing the same number of punches, but that tells you only part of the equation.
Yeah.
You know.
His punches
is who's hurting who the most.
Yeah.
No doubt that Stephane has done more damage.
We're in the fourth round, under a minute to go. It's an 8-round fight. Harris now moving around more in the ring. Harris now really attempting to stay away from Ouellet as much as possible. Stephane Ouellet looking very poised here.
See, what's deceiving oftentimes when you look at the fight facts number of punches, what's deceiving is that it doesn't tell you the power behind each punch.
Sure.
So some people tend to put too much emphasis on the number of punches. But if you look at the action in this particular round, you see that Ouellet's power is definitely better than the Harris's.
And Ouellet is controlling the territory of the ring. He is determining who is moving and where.
You can see right after round the confidence in Ouellet's face, the way he moves. Now he figures that he's got...
And the confidence as he leads with that left hand, and the bell goes, that's the end of round 4.
Another good round for Stephane.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that who will get the scoring edge here in the round number 4s. Wayne Harris has absorbed a certain amount of punishment over the last couple rounds in particular.
He started off well, but then what happened is that Stephane didn't let him establish his advantage because of his reach. And the minute that he started moving not only with his head, but he started moving from left to right, and he didn't present a stationary target. And then he learned that what he's so good at also is counter-punching.
And we can see in the replay here, from the 4th round, just how much impact these punches from Stephane Ouellet are having. And he mixed his punches pretty well too. Here we go, ready to start the 5th round. The next one coming up is Vanderpool and Cavillos for the Canadian Welterweight Championship. That one is slated to go 12. This one is scheduled for 8. We're in 5. Ouellet would obviously like to see it end earlier.
We mustn't forget either, Ron, that Harris also did go 12 rounds in a World Championship fight against Reggie Johnson. From that point of view, you know that he's a world-class fighter. And he's probably in for the whole 8 rounds.
That's right. 8 rounds is a short fight for either of these fighters. They're used to going more.
Now, it's true that it was some years ago, but since then, I mean, he's held his own pretty well against world-class fighters. So this is, to me, I think that this is the ideal test, a real good test for Ouellet.
And Harris is maybe looking sharper here in the 5th, but now he takes a flurry from Stephane Ouellet. Stephane Ouellet attempting to wear Harris down after Harris came out in the 5th round looking very sharp. Here's a good left and another one. A couple of body punches, but again, not really doing any damage at all to Stephane Ouellet.
He had a little bit of
that's a couple more.
The way
Harris attempting to get off the ropes. Now Ouellet to the back. With his back to the rope, but that didn't stop him from still landing a couple of good punches.
We had a bit of a problem at the weigh-in ceremony, Ron, when Ouellet weighs 170. And Harris claimed that he had been working his weight down to 165 because of some misunderstanding that he had between him and his agent. And so that's the reason why they came in about 5 or 6 pounds difference. Here's Ouellet again coming back. And
Harris with Ouellet back to the ropes, but Ouellet comes right off the ropes swinging. Stephane Ouellet is really throwing probably 2 punches for every one that Harris is throwing, and Ouellet is so much heavier. Down to the last 30 seconds of the 5th round. Ouellet showing no signs whatsoever of weariness. He has taken control of this fight. Much pleasing the crowd here at the Molson Center.
But in spite of the severity of the punches, you see Harris still walking in and actually forcing the issue.
Yep.
You can tell that he's been in a number of wars himself. He's not intimidated, although he's not winning the round either.
Now
that's going to be another 10-9 in favor of Ouellet for sure.
Well, a very icy glare there as the 2 fighters go to their respective corners after round 5. Again, Yvon Michel talking to Stephane Ouellet. Ouellet has to feel very good about this fight, but then we can remember one a while ago against Davey Hilton when he felt very good about what was transpiring, and everything came apart over a matter of seconds.
Well, right now he's trying to climb back up to the top of the hill, and I can't think of a better test than what's happening right now, because he's got to work every second of every round and he's given, like this guy is not quitting on him, and he keeps aggressing. So Ouellet has got to fight for every single.
And for Ouellet, it is an excellent conditioner, and better for him than if he was up against a fighter that did pack it in.
For him to get a quick knockout would have served absolutely no purpose. But now he's also, you could see that by his performance, he's gaining confidence round after round. And
well, we're into round 6.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Ouellet in the gray trucks. I guess this is something of a comeback for him.
Yeah, sure. He was away for over 6 months or so. That's right. And the most important question that was still to be answered is that whether he was still mentally ready to get back into action. And now I think this is going to do a lot for him.
Yeah, there seems to be a little doubt that he's mentally ready.
In fact, he seems to be enjoying this.
Ouellet is enjoying it. He's getting stronger.
He's joining the fans and enjoying this fight.
Harris continues to not. Well, there was one that caught the jaw. And you mentioned the jaw. That one jarred Wayne Harris. Now, Ouellet can smell it now.
He's showboating all of the talent, all that natural
now
talent.
He's throwing the lefts. Harris comes back, but this has been a rough round for Wayne Harris. He has taken a lot of punishment from Stephane Ouellet. We'll have to see now if he drops those hands.
What an exhibition, though, of natural talent that this guy's putting through right now. And the punches seem to be, flowing smooth.
No, he looks like a real boxer tonight, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Well, Ouellet's only 28 years old. We're not talking about a 35-year-old boxer here. He has a lot of fights under his belt, but he's still not.
The one suspect that we've always had, of course, is his chin.
Yeah.
But sometimes the heart compensates for the lack of granite chin. He doesn't have a granite chin, but he's got a granite heart, so to speak.
Now we're into the final minute of round 6. Stephane Ouellet clearly is dominating the round.
Ron, we can never forget that sometimes a straight right to Ouellet's jaw can cause
a lot of damage,
disturbances,
right,
and that may perhaps even add to the excitement of seeing him take.
Well, he caught Harris with front 4. Harris is down, and as Harris was down at the ropes, Ouellet took another shot.
Good job by the referee.
And he's getting the standing count from the referee, Jerry Bolin. Bolin asking Harris, are you okay? Are you okay? He's looking in his eyes. He's going to let him go. 10 seconds to go in the round. Harris now just attempting to survive the round as it is becoming a brawl with Stephane Ouellet. Jerry Bolin has called it. Has he not?
Yeah,
he called it just as the bell went. So this is a 6th round TKO. Stephane Ouellet.
I think Jerry Bolin might have made this decision on the previous knockdown because the last, after he got up, he didn't seem to be in distress, but I would imagine that based on when he did take the beating against the
he was going to give him a short leash.
It's just about,
right.
That's where the damage was done.
Now we get a look at it here, Gabe.
Sequence,
No, I'm sure you're right. Jerry Bolin had made his decision that he was going to let him go, but he wasn't going to let him go very far.
The guy was really, at this stage, right after when he went in the ropes, when he went through the ropes there, or against the ropes, so to speak.
Well,
at this stage now, it's debatable, but I think that if you go back to and count the incident of his going down against the ropes in the first instance, I mean, there could have been some argument right there and then to prevent him from going back in again. And I think the guy's going to be out of it anyways. I think he was a spent fighter.
That is clear. And that's, I mean, you've been there, and that's where a referee has to take charge because you do feel responsible to some degree.
Absolutely. And this guy, let's face it, Harris was on the way towards being knocked out. I think that was becoming very evident. Like he, in the last couple of rounds, he wasn't even in the fight, and especially in the last round. So all in all, whatever the referee might have done in this particular round, to me, I think it was inevitable for the next round would have been the end if this guy was already on his way.
So good job by the referee, Jerry Bolin. There's a look at Wayne Harris, no doubt disappointed. He came a long way here in Montreal tonight, but still put up a valiant effort.
Absolutely, and I think that it's going to do wonders for the spirit of Stephane, because I think everybody will agree that he fought a very good fight, a rough fight. The guy came in and gave him a lot of difficult moments. At least he was there to fight, and it's going to do something for his spirit.
Okay, let's go up to Christian Gauthier at center of the ring.
At 3 minutes of the 6th round, le gagnant par KO technique, the winner by TKO, Stephane Ouellet.
Well, the next one coming up is the feature of tonight's card from the Molson Center of Montreal, the Canadian Welterweight Championship, Kurt Cavillos. Young Montreal fighter with a perfect record of 14 wins in 14 fights. Kurt Cavillos, for the first time, going to go 12 rounds. This is the biggest fight, certainly, of his career.
You know, Ron, I remember when Don Majeski said that to make a good fight like the promoter must have, a situation where people don't know who's going to win, and the two fighters are well known. And we have these ingredients in this particular fight. Like tonight, if you ask 25 people, you'll have half of them will say that they think Cavillos is going to win, the other half will say Vanderpool, they think he's going to win. So, in effect, this is an ideal matchup. And to boot, you have a title at stake in the Canadian Championship.
Kurt Cavillos has been brought along very methodically by Russ Anber, and Russ handles his fighters in a specific manner.
Yeah.
Some people criticize him for it, but he never wavered.
Absolutely. No, I think that you have to have a lot of respect and admiration for Russ, because he takes absolute good care of his fighters, and he doesn't get swayed by the public opinion. He does what he thinks is right, and so far it's worked pretty well. Look at he's taken Otis to pretty high levels in the professional ring. So you have to listen to at least what he has to say. That's to me, I think that he's on the right track.
This is the man they call the Whip.
Correct.
Fitz Vanderpool, who is